Welcome everybody to this episode of Strong Perspective Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Keith Armstrong, along with
Uncle Spoke.
Boy Damon Armstrong.
And I'm Keith Barnes.
Hey Keith, you've been on here about 100 times. You can't be that generic with it. I'm Keith Barnes.
He messed around and told somebody watching tonight. That's what it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Like, I got to put on the show, man. I got to put on the show.
She don't read good.
You want him to get on there and tell him,
Well, listen, welcome to this edition of Strong Perspective Podcast. This is a podcast that focuses on conversation amongst adults, young and old. You know, we promote conversation. If you want to open up, if you want to give your perspective and if you want to deep dive into it, you know, we'll ride along with you. We'll support you as much as we can. If it's just small talk, hey, we welcome small talk also. As long as you have a sense of humor and your personality is glowing, then you will be perfect. So welcome. All right. So let me do a little bit of housekeeping. Excuse me. First of all, if you do us a favor and go to our YouTube channel called Strong Perspective Podcast, please like, share, and subscribe, especially subscribe, because what we're trying to do is build up our numbers. We're trying to build up our numbers because we want to reach other people, like-minded people like ourselves. And really and truly, like I said, we promote conversation, open it up to one another. And what we try to do is show an example. Some days we argue. Some days we bicker. Some days we agree, everybody agree on the same thing. But the one thing we do is we put an effort towards communication. Is it a lost art? I'm not sure. I think that it's not practiced enough because communication takes a back and forth, listening, exchange of ideas, back and forth, listening, exchange of ideas. Sometimes in this social media world, what's going on is we get our 30-second blast. And then if we like that little 30-second fix, what we'll do is we go search it out and we want longer, 3 minutes. Next thing you know, we're subscribing to a channel and we want to get the episode, the hour and a half episode. Celebrities, non-celebrities, businessmen, politicians, everything. Well, guess what we are? We are everymen. We've all done extraordinary things with our lives. And do we want to come here and promote it? If we must talk about it, we will. But really and truly, I love the conversation. With that being said, Jaquari, how are you today, sir?
I'm good, man. I'm good. No issues. Traveled the highways and byways, man, to my home state of Michigan. To celebrate my cousin Malika's birthday. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, cousin.
Yeah, it's I forget the exact day, but it's not tomorrow. But yeah, here for that. But just to piggyback off of what you were saying, man. When I speak to people about like coworkers or whatever about the podcast, and they ask me what it's about, and I tell them it's about conversation, and I describe my approach to it. They really don't understand it because I truly don't set out to try to sway anyone to agree with my opinion or anything like that. Not all conversation has to involve persuasion or argument or convincing a person or something or whatever. Sometimes it's just talking. You know what I mean? If you can just do that without a motive or a goal, then you know your communication skills are top notch. But that's just my opinion.
Okay. Damon, how you doing today, brother?
Man, I'm doing good, man. Me and my grandbaby had a great day today, man. She ran the hell out of me, man, and did what she asked, and she wasn't mad, so we had a good day.
Okay. I wasn't sure you said ship or shit when you said she ran the ship.
I didn't mean to say. I said the S word, but I didn't mean to say it.
Oh.
As it pertains to my grandbaby. You know.
I'm sorry.
But she ran, man.
I gave you the benefit, so you know what I mean. So it was ship. It was ship,
one of those,
ladies and gentlemen.
It was one of those. Yeah. Grab that for me.
Yeah.
Now, hand it here. Now, I need you to go there and warm me up something. Man, I ain't smell nothing hot cooking when I came in. So you're slipping. You're slipping, Grandy.
Yeah. Keith, how you doing today, brother?
Man, I'm doing great. I had a good day today, man. I was my son Joshua Nehemiah came to see me. We hung out. We ate, went and watched the Bad Boys movie.
Okay.
Will Smith ended up moving. That's always a treat, man. When they coming out of the kindness of their heart and spend some time with the old man.
You wouldn't seen that movie after he done jumped on Chris Rock like that?
Yeah. I went and saw that.
Good.
Yeah,
I don't give a damn about that shit, man.
Look, we have a history of getting upset and slapping shit out of each other every now and then. So I don't know how everybody acting brand new. And we be in love the next day. We be at sharing drinks, laughing about it. Man, he had slapping out the chair and shit, man. You can leave.
Slap shit out, man. He slapping shit out, didn't even alone.
I think up in Chicago, my army buddy said his girlfriend said they called it an act right.
Yeah.
She said up north we call this an act right.
That's exactly what it is.
Hey.
Yeah.
The old man said, "You had no business mess with that man. He told you to leave him alone, man."
He told you.
Yeah.
Told you.
You got what you deserve, bro.
Yeah.
And you know what? Honestly, man, that made me. I was already a fan of whatever, Chris Rock or whatever, man. But it solidified it when that shit happened. And he looked at the audience and said, "Will Smith just slapped the shit out of me."
Right. But
just slapped the shit out of me.
Isn't that what happened on the street though?
Yeah.
They get hit, then they pause for a minute. Like,
especially when you're not gonna do anything. You say it just like that. Hey man, this man just slapped the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody gonna do nothing.
Or they put it in question form. Did this dude just slap me?
Slap the shit out of me.
Yeah, we all saw it. You right? He did.
Yeah, I think that's what he did, man.
Yeah.
They're gonna tell the police when they come. I ain't seen nothing.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's a testament, man, to the fact that you can get over shit. You can get over shit, man. You can get over embarrassing moments. On both parties' behalf.
And Will is trying his very best to do it. He's trying his best. Because this bad boy thing, they say Will gets slapped up a couple times by a Martin in the movie.
Yeah.
So that's the redemption thing. Come on, man. They hitting us with the subliminal, man. Come on, man.
Exactly.
How many viewers was at the Oscars when I'm watching? When he slapped
millions?
How many
millions?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then there'd be millions watching that movie, watching him get slapped.
Exactly.
Well, I forgive anything.
I'd had to make a cameo though.
Right, put you in the script.
Yeah, put you in right.
I need to slap you.
Yeah.
And just he be in church, and I just pop out from behind the pulpit, just slap the goddamn shit out. And then just leave. The motherfuckers, but I didn't understand why that happened. And the two other times it happened, I didn't understand it. Well, you weren't supposed to because it wasn't for you.
Yeah.
They say it looked like you hit it for real. I did hit it. I did.
You're supposed to tell him like Kevin Costner told my man on Oprah Reigns, did that hurt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tell you, I think I had mixed feelings about it. Like, I thought he slapped Chris Rock. Not to rehash it too much. I thought he slapped him because he knew he could. Because he knew Chris was not going to do anything. You know what I'm saying? But also, and this is small. Chris Rock displays asshole behavior, and I wasn't surprised by him getting slapped. I was surprised that Will Smith slapped him because he had too much to lose.
Mm.
But had somebody else slap Chris Rock, I wouldn't have been surprised. It's the truth. The man has great stand-up. He's a funny guy. But he displays asshole behavior, man. You know what I'm saying? Where in regular life, what? A man to get slapped. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or a man to get punched from some of the stuff, you know what I mean? So I don't know. And then they tried to vilify his wife. His wife is what she is, but she the way she is because he allow it. You know what I'm saying? And not saying that she's wrong or she's out of pocket or they think is they think. I don't care about that. My point is, this is my point. Will, all the stuff that led up to it, Will was, and this is the police, this law enforcement thing right here, Key. Will was too calm leading up to that point. Will was acting like he already was aware of what's going on.
He laughed at the joke.
Yeah, and then he talked about August. In the red table, he talked about August. Like he knew. You know, I met him. I had moved out the house. He said it. I seen this because it was interesting, and I was bored. So I'm looking at Will Smith with his wife at the red table. He said August was in the house, and he met him. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So all of a sudden, because fans is like, oh, why would you do that to Will? Will had left, and he was. Now this is conjecture. This is conjecture, but his co-stars love Will. You know what I'm saying? And he has that reputation with his co-stars. You feel what I'm saying? That's all. And look,
see, the thing is,
like Corey Holcomb said, though, spoke that boy built woman.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing, though. I mean, at the time, you know, he probably thinking number one, what it look like if I jump on Jada? That's gonna be bad. Hell, August Alsina, he young and strong, so you know, hey, you know, it'll probably be even, but you know, like I said, he young and strong, so you know, I don't want to get hurt. But goddamn, what the man name is again?
Chris Rock.
Chris Watt. Chris Watt. He's like, shit, I can't let this opportunity pass. I can't let it. And I ain't taking nothing away from Chris Watt, man. You know, he a man. You know, and I still had the utmost respect for him for the way he responded.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It was a company man response.
But no. I wouldn't even say me. I wouldn't say company man. No, it was an opportunity, and I'm hoping that he seen it as an opportunity, man, for a black man to show emotional intelligence, self-control.
That's a good point.
You know, in the face of another, you know, in the face of a breakdown of a breakdown of a man, you know, having self. Somebody losing control. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Because a scary sight for me is you do that to the brother, and the brother sit there and do this, just kind of Just kind of nodded his head.
Yeah.
You got a problem.
Yeah.
This man sitting up there clowning me and everybody laughing. And you play in the room and all you see is people just falling out laughing at you. It ain't happening for real, man. That's what you're thinking.
But look, the craziest shit, the most gangster shit was he turned around and sat back down and let this man go through his monologue. And then told him, keep my wife's name out, and sat there and crossed his legs like, I ain't going nowhere. Brother. You know
that's the equivalent of slapping a motherfucker in the face and then handing him a cone and saying, now fix your goddamn hair.
Oh no, look, or go in somebody's house, smack the shit out of him, then sit down and make a sandwich and eat it in his face. Like, don't you move.
Yeah.
And you don't move. All right. I was thinking about something the other day. And it's along the lines of the little topics that I sent you guys. The first one I want to try to get your opinion about is Juneteenth, right? Juneteenth, Biden made it a national holiday last year. And really and truly, it's crazy that I didn't know anything about Juneteenth being celebrated until I was 28 years old. And it was in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And it was one of my last years living in Pittsburgh before I moved down here in North Carolina. And when I investigated, like, man, because it was a big city event. It had a festival and everything, and I worked it. And I'm thinking to myself, well, what is this, right? And I investigated it and found out the background of it. Just for most people understand what it is now, but just for reference point, Juneteenth is the celebration when the slaves in Texas found out about the Emancipation Proclamation. And I think it was 2 years later when they found out, and then they celebrated it. And they were celebrating it in Texas and a lot of parts in the South ever since, Black folks, right? And people was like, well, they said 2 years later, and I thought about it, I was like, well, damn, what was it? And the propagandists would say, well, those slaves didn't want to leave because it took them 2 years to know that they were free. But then I really just thought about it and looked it up. The Abraham Lincoln he signed in 1863, around that time? Yeah. And the war was still going on, right? But the propaganda is like, oh, these slaves they liked being slaves because they did not exercise their freedom until 2 years later. No, you were in the deepest part of the South, in Texas. And the general had to march all the way through the South as the war ended and all these different things and different skirmishes. And when he reached Texas, he said, hey, do you know you're free? But how they know they're free if they deep in Texas? These landowners who got them enslaved, of course, they not gonna tell them. Who's gonna tell them, right? So my
plus
question,
the emails in Texas was probably all fucked up.
Their Wi-Fi is all fucked up. But but the point I'm trying to make is, now that we it's a national 2 years a national holiday. What? And I'm gonna give you my opinion once I ask this question. And we'll start with We'll start with you, Keith.
Okay. What? Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay, what is your overall opinion about the Juneteenth holiday?
Okay. Yeah. Starting off, I found out like you did. For a while, for years, I'd hear it spoken of, but I had it associated. I thought it was honestly something that college students were doing.
Okay.
It was a gathering or something like that. And then I thought it was like Freaknik or something like that, something where people just get together and do stuff. Because I heard it was on a larger scale. So once I found out what it truly was about, and I was like, okay. And then I felt lost in the sauce. I was thinking, how was this going on this long? And I hadn't even heard about this in passing.
Mm-hmm.
I just heard it associated with a cookout. We having the Juneteenth cookout, and I was like, oh, okay, all right. And because they have it in a park or somewhere.
Okay.
But no one ever talked it up on a what's word can I use, political type level. Like, hey, y'all come in and or market it that way. Hey, this is a celebration of our liberation and something like that. They never heard it like that. And then a part of me got disappointed, sort of felt a little disappointed because we don't do it more often. I said, why does there have to be a date to do that? That's some junk we should be doing every day.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted, that's something still I'd like to see done. For us to show appreciation for our ancestors surviving, coming through, enduring, even up to now. Because like what you were touching on earlier, people would, how they had to trickle down to Galveston. And I don't know if that's where that term "don't shoot the messenger" come from, but I'm sure quite a few messengers got shot trying to come down or at least beat down, trying to come and spread that rumor.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going by with the Freedom Riders, what they went through. So you imagine you carrying that message and you passing that, whispering that, and then they trying to put everybody back in line. Hey, that's up north. You ain't up north. This is what's going on here. Ain't nothing changed, that type of thing. So, not to get too far off topic, but I wish they would get that. We would do that more often.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, and the one thing that I understand about it is, as far as us being and our ancestors being enslaved in this country, right? It's not celebrating being a slave and not being a slave anymore, but it's celebrating freedom. Memorial Day, right, is a Black invented holiday that was taken up for a national holiday, right? And that was just the end of the war, but it was us, right? Juneteenth was celebrated in Texas, but really and truly, it needed to be celebrated nationally by us. Now, it's different pockets, just like I said, in the South, of course. You know what I mean? Because it was more meaningful with people in the immediate South. But it's funny, man, that it is a holiday, and you don't have to, go all out if you don't want to, but take a couple of moments to appreciate the simple fact that, there is something worth celebrating as a whole with us. Not that we were set free. No. The simple fact that we recognize that we were free people. Because that's the difference to me. Damon, what is your opinion about Juneteenth?
Just to piggyback on what you said, we recognize we were free people, so I think this is a strong argument for reparations, man. We're free. They got free labor for 2 years without, you know what I'm saying, without letting these people know that they are actually free people. They could at least, flim flam them become sharecroppers like they did, Mississippi and Alabama. But no, they held the truth. So I think that's a strong argument for reparations. Give us 2 years of free labor. You know what I'm saying? We were free and you guys took advantage of it. You know what I'm saying? And didn't say anything. So let's begin there. Since people want to sit up and talk shit about slavery was over and that would happen a long time ago. Yeah, but people were taken advantage of. The message, like Hugh said, they probably killed the messengers who were trying to spread the word or whatever. But they were taken advantage of. So what's a stronger argument for reparations other than that situation? You know what I'm saying? Free people still treated like slaves, free labor and all that. Where's the argument going to be? I mean, that's where my mind first goes to. And then after that, I'm thinking, capitalism trumps everything because it was all about capitalism, wasn't it? Hey, we got crops and all this stuff, and we got this free labor. We're going to take advantage of it, even though it's bad practice. They didn't have unions and shit back then. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have anybody looking out for them. They just had people dogging them out. So I would like to hear that in Congress. I would like to hear them making an argument against that case, specifically. These people were free, and they were lied to, and the truth was held from them, and who knows how many lives was lost in that 2-year span. So I would like to see that brought in front of Congress in terms of reparations. And that's pretty much how I feel about it.
Okay.
Could I ask you something?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to say when you said that about the taxes, how about just let us be tax free to compensate for the free labor that you got for hundreds of years?
I like that.
That's compensation. Just y'all don't have to pay no tax. So.
Oh yeah.
That'll work for me.
Yeah. Then you don't have to debate on who you owe who and all of that. We easy to spot.
And you know that America, the United States, have paid reparation to every ethnic group other than African Americans. Yeah. It's the truth.
Yeah.
They have. I mean, but that is what it is. Jaquari, what is your opinion about Juneteenth?
Well, honestly, man, like probably a couple of years before it was Biden made it a national holiday, man. It was when I started hearing about it, and for me, I think I didn't really pick it up around that time because there was no centralized character. There was no person who there was no Juneteenth Paul Revere. You know what I mean? There was no mythical figure who came and finally emancipated the Texan slaves or whatever. And I'm not saying that we need anything like that, but or anybody like that, but if it's a holiday, man, you guys don't think we should probably like come up with some songs or some folklore or something like that, or about Juneteenth? No, I'm just playing. No, but yeah, I mean, for me, seriously though, since there was like, I didn't hear anything about a guy or an organization who made it their business to go down there and inform the slaves in Texas that they were free. I didn't latch on to it. I didn't understand the importance of that. Because before Keith and Damon, talked about their parts or whatever, I didn't even consider those things. So it's a lot to unpack about that, man. Seriously, but that's it.
Okay. And just in just my summing up of it is, I think what you have to do is make a decision on what you care about and what you're willing to follow through with, right? Like, people got upset because Biden, which, I understand was a political thing, made it a national holiday, right? I understand that. But my thing about it is, if you look deeper into it, we never really celebrate being free from persecution and slavery. We don't celebrate it.
Since we got a month. So, hey.
Yeah.
But
we
is that a celebration of it, or is that just just recognizing what we contributed to this country? You can fold it into it. So I'm not disagreeing with you, but you know what I'm saying? You want me? I think the month has a lot to do with, and it's not a holiday in that month. But what is it? Martin Luther? What? Don't have me lying. It's not a holiday. Day. It's just
Valentine's Day. The only thing they celebrate.
Yeah, it's a figure. It's a figurehead that we chose to do it. It's not recognized by the government. This is us as a people. Like, because this month was made up to say, hey, man, we do make a difference. We have made a difference. We are a part of this thing that they say we're not a part of. And I say they, just quote unquote, it ain't no conspiracy, but we are here. That's what February is to us. You know what I'm saying? It's for our children to say, yo, this is what it is. But when you minimize it because you want to be a part of this big system, why not just want to make money? You don't have to be a part of the system to make money. See, that's what people get hung up on. You don't have to be a part of the system to make money. If you become independent and enough people become independent in whatever situation it is, it can become a moneymaker because of what it is. That's just how things work. If you have enough people. But like I said, that's just, the ramblings of my mind. It has nothing to do with anybody else's truth. It's like, and it's no disappointment because other people think differently from me. I was just curious to hear you guys' opinion about Juneteenth. You know what I'm saying?
I like to eventually. I mean, not even eventually. I'd like to know more about it because I would be very surprised if that was like the only instance of that particular thing happening.
You gotta think about it. It's the march all the way through the South.
Yeah, and just because, I mean, hell, 6 months before, because Lincoln says, okay, yeah, well, all the slaves is free. Well, the great state of Texas, they like, well, we don't give a fuck what you say, Mr. President, and we not telling them. So hey,
we had war.
Yeah, figure that out until dudes marched in and let the slaves know that they were free. And I'm also wondering, how much what the fuck the slaves put up. Like, what the fuck? So what we gonna do?
Yeah, because you talk about people that were in bondage in an area that had proclaimed themselves to be their own nation.
Yeah.
They separated. Well, I think they call it treason today, but they separated from the rest of the
But see, that's what the Army was for. That's what the Union Army was for.
Yeah.
And then what he specifically said, and let's if we won't do it, we're gonna do it right. He said that you are not in bondage anymore. You will not work for free. You will work under the guise of a wage, meaning sharecropping or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You feel what I'm saying? So you will not work for free or under the lash.
Right.
So that's what he said.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a lot. You still got to work around.
Yeah, exactly.
What's going on in that situation? So you have to think that those folks were probably some strong people when they worked themselves out of that. You see what I'm saying? Because it was really ambiguous and vague when he said, hey, the only thing is, guys and gals, is they can't make you work for free. So you need a wage. You feel
but at the same time, you're not classified as an immigrant. So you're not entitled to these perks to help you get started. We ain't gonna give you no piece of land and stuff, you know.
Because that's the one thing about us. See, everybody think we were the main laboring force throughout the South, period. Meaning the building of houses, building of anything, that's what we were doing. So when Reconstruction came around, this is why Black folks prospered, because they were the only skilled labor.
Absolutely.
This is why Jim Crow became what it became. Because it became what it became out of jealousy. Because once we got the opportunity, we prospered because we were doing it anyway. Now we're getting paid a wage to do it. You know what I mean? But guess what? When you're in your history classes, everybody in this screen right here, you in your history classes, did you ever hear anything? Look, you got 2 sentences about Reconstruction. Reconstruction lasts from ba 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 to ba ba ba. Then it ended. You know what I'm saying? So, but it was the most prosperous time for Southern Blacks. You know what I mean? Because they became senators, congressmen, businessmen, everything. You know? That's this kind of stuff, man. Like I said, as a whole, had we learned that as a whole, it wouldn't be no emotional damage like it is with guys like us. You feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because the folks who were made to go seek found this information, but everybody else just relied on the information that was given.
I would give, when I was 18, 19, when I went into the military and I sat down with brothers, and I'll admit a lot of them were from up north, and they were having conversations, man, and I was sitting there with my mouth hung open because I know what I was taught out of the textbooks. And they were going on this whole nother level. Oh no, it's this is going on. And I'm sitting there trying to see who's exaggerating and who's not. And they giving me references, and I'm looking at it, and I'm in my mind, a picture is forming, a puzzle is coming together. And then the part of me get embarrassed. I'm like, man, how did I not know that? Dang, that's obvious. So they were giving me a lot of the whys of situations we were in and things like that.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to tie that in also with the Juneteenth thing, because you know how that little thing they do in class. We did it in law enforcement, where they'll say, "Okay, I'm gonna whisper something in your ear."
Oh, telephone.
Yeah, and then you pass it to the next person. You relay the message to the person behind you. And then when you get to the last person, you tell them that person to tell you what was told to you, and then they'll write down what was originally said and see how much the message changed.
Oh yeah.
So you got to think about. I'm in my imagination. I'm thinking about that too. And then you got the brothers that's got a family. He's got 8, 9, 10 children. Where you going? Pack up, go where? So it's amazing, man. Our folks amazing, man.
I think, and you know what? The thing about it is the fact, and this is only my opinion, we don't give each other the benefit of the doubt. We just don't. And that has a lot to do with not the individuals, but the information that's given and the conditioning that's being put upon us. You feel what I'm saying? Meaning that you can have all the greatest intention of anyone for progress and cooperation, right? But when you feel that one thing, when you're dealing with a group and you feel that one thing creeping in the back of your head, that one negative thing that turns into two negative things, that's the things that you heard over years, right? That's the things that other folks, because you always got to deal with what? You got to deal with the bad people who just bad for no reason, no matter what color they are. They're just bad. They just dehumanize humans. They just take advantage of humans. That's what they want to do. Then you have the other folks who are misinformed, which is the biggest majority, right? But those folks, right? Then you have the other folks who know, but just want an easier ride. Now you have these different layers on trying to get something done, something unpacked, something. It gets the truth get lost in the sauce unless you really and truly stick to it and go find it.
Not realistically, man, and honestly, a lot of times, man, the truth just doesn't serve everybody. It doesn't serve everybody. I mean, so I don't care if it's true or not. If I have to relinquish a certain amount of my shit,
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck about the truth. You know, if there's a price that I have to pay, fuck the truth.
Because it's not always the easier path.
Yeah.
You have to have a steady diet of the truth to really and truly stick to it. Because a lot of things is, and rightfully so, you have to look out for yourself and your family. That is paramount. That gotta be, right?
Yeah.
But there's a fine line when it comes to taking away from somebody else to help your family when you don't have to, but you're doing it just in case. See, that's that on those lines of people are just bad to be bad. You know what I'm saying? It's not, you know, it's a character thing, I think. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Because I had to practice to look out for my fellow man. And it wasn't because I was a bad person, but it had a lot to do with just being human and my conditioning, understanding the bigger picture.
So let me ask you this, man. Do to this day, do you feel like you need to look out for your fellow man all the time?
I need to look out for my fellow man enough for the flow to keep going. Because once you stop yourself, I mean, you got to think about it.
Nah. Let me stop you. You need to look out for your fellow man enough for him not to be interested in your shit.
But see, that's the point, though. If you don't do it the way you're supposed to, he's gonna look out for your shit anyway. And I'm not saying that it's a right way to do it where they won't come looking for yours. No, it has nothing to do with that. It has something to do with you keeping your flow going. That's all. You keeping your flow going. Like, how many times?
You mean hiding under the radar and hope you ain't being noticed while you compiling your shit, man, earning it?
No, I'm gonna tell you. I mean, that's a good point, Luke. But let me say this, man. I want you to elaborate on it. How about I know people, men and women, who have flourished, but also helped other people flourish. You understand what I'm saying to you? Look, I'm not talking about sacrifice if that's not what you're willing to do. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm talking about having the extra energy to take care of yours and give advice and help others to take care of theirs.
It's noble, bro. But I mean, at some point, man, you know, the other people are not going to be able to depend on me for anything. I mean, seriously. I mean, it's not. I mean, I work and I toil.
Yeah.
You know, and at a regular job, man. You know, under the false the false aspiration that you know I'm going to become at least financially comfortable one day. You know, I mean, I get up and go get it, man, for the sake of me and mine, not to be in a better position to help a motherfucker. And I help people all the time. Don't get me wrong, man. But you know, you said it yourself, man. Once you you help a person to a certain point, and they secure that position, then what is to keep that person from turning around and biting you in the ass from that higher position?
There's nothing.
Right. Especially the amount of times that you helped them.
I get it.
You know what I mean? So I mean it's I think I mean well,
I think if
I don't want to put that out there.
If you're speaking to me about it, how I personally do it, I have no problem with saying no. I have no problem with saying no and giving you a reason. Go ahead, Damon.
How do you help a person, man? I mean, there are some people who are so downtrodden, man. You have to help them. You know what I'm saying? If you have if you about humanity, they're downtrodden. You have to help them, man. But what's the strongest thing you can do for a person, man? Isn't it leading by example?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There are people, man, that I've had people come to me and say, "Hey, man, you changed my life," and I'm like, "I don't even. Who are you?" You know? Well, I just from afar, I just watched you, and I watched the example. Now I saw how you conducted yourself, and you know, I started taking care of my kids, and I started doing it, and I started doing that. And I was like, "Well, hey, man, you giving me credit for that? I don't even know you, brother." No, man, I was watching you from somebody put me on to you, and they say, "Hey, this is a good dude." You know what I'm saying? I've had that example more than anything. You know, more than anything. Most times, man, you help people by your example, the life that you lead. You know what I'm saying? Now, do you got snakes out there who's willing to come take your shit? I mean, that's just par for the course, man. You know, that's just the life that we live. Hell, the Neanderthals did that to the Cro-Magnons or whatever. You know, if you got resources, we coming to take it. You know, and you fight for that. You defend yourself. You should be protected under the Constitution in that regard, man. But as far as what my responsibility is to put out my best self and be an example for the next person. You know, either you're gonna listen to it or you're not. I'm not supposed to reach everybody. You know,
That's real.
I'm not supposed to reach everybody. I ain't Jesus. That's what made Jesus who he is, you know, in people's lives.
Yeah.
You know, as far as me and my own personal little corner, I need to grind, make sure I'm doing the right thing, make sure my offspring doing the right thing, support my woman, and we try to do the best we can, you know, and protect that at all costs, you know, and everybody's a threat at that point, man. You know, but that doesn't stop me from upper mobility. That doesn't stop me from being what I need to be in the eyes of my wife, number one, my partner, and my kids, who's an example to follow behind me. And if it
Yeah.
spreads out and if it branches out above and beyond that, that's a beautiful thing, man. You know,
Yeah.
some of my heroes, I just read about them. But my biggest hero is who I grew up with, who was there, who I saw. You know, it's just like our dad told me one time. He said, "Hey, man, the strongest man is not the man who can power all this stuff. The strongest man is that man who falls on his face, struggles, and get back up on his feet. You know what I'm saying? That's a man. That's what a man does. That's a strong man because he's leading by example. And he's leading by example, not talking or pointing out his bank account. He's leading by example because his people see his struggle. And those people that see your struggle are the main people laughing at your ass. You know what I'm saying? Or wish for your demise. But when you rise above that, those same people who was laughing, they like, yeah, that man, they, talking about you laughing, but they calling you on the backside saying, well, hey, dog, how you get through that, man? How you deal with that? You know what I'm saying? But hey, man, just keep that between us. You know what I'm saying? A week at me be like, oh, nigga, you was one of those, oh, brother, you was one of those cats that was laughing with him. That's my weak side. But that laughter doesn't stop my progress, man. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't stop my progress. You ain't got enough to eat. You only got enough to eat to feed the children. So you give them the meat, the rice, and you eat rice and gravy. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. You know, and in that household, that nucleus, we know what it took for us to get where we are. I ain't got to brag about it. You just see how I survived it. Now you decide whether or not you think you know, I'm man enough or you have an opinion about me. You think that for yourself. But I'm not going to explain shit to you. Now, if you pay attention, I'll show you how I did it. And you might be able to take something from it. You know what I'm saying? But we all different, man. And we all do shit different. We take examples, but we don't do it all the same.
Yeah. And the fact that this conversation is branching, and we've asked this on the podcast before, and I want to ask it again. And I know that the four of us have different varying degrees on the answer to this question. So the question is, and we'll go to you, Ja'Cory, first. What do you think your responsibility should be to your community? As I said, there's no right or wrong to this. Is it what your own personal, what you think? What do you think?
My responsibility to my community, man, community is to make sure, you know, overall, first and foremost, that I'm not a drain on the community, man. You know, now whatever positive things I have to contribute to the community are entirely secondary because it's not solely my responsibility to support the community. But you know, I can't be the guy who's always screaming about the house is burning down, but I got a goddamn handful of matches. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
That's that's it.
Damon, what do you think your responsibility to the community should be?
My responsibility to community, man, is to make sure, like I said, that I'm leading by example. I'm trying to be the best of myself. Whatever I put out, whatever God put me on this earth to be, I'm trying to be the best of that because there's a plan for everything. You know what I'm saying? You fit into that narrative. You fit into that call. Being your best self. You know what I'm saying? Being humble when you need to be humble. Matter of fact, you can be led by humility. You can be led by that. Hey, I was this way. But when it happened to me, I'm the loudest person screaming. You know, I'm the loudest person that hey man, y'all saw that brother break in my house or that dude break in my house and ain't nobody gonna say nothing. Last week, man, you turn your back when the other cat house got broke into. You didn't say anything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But now you a victim. Now now your shit took. You like, man, I work hard, man. Niggas gonna walk up in my stuff and take it. And the crazy part about it, everybody in the neighborhood know who the hell doing it.
Yeah.
You know, they know who the hell doing it. So my responsibility for the community, man, is to be the best I could be, lead by example, make sure I don't put out a product, man, that's gonna do something destructive to the community, which is my kids. You know what I'm saying? Make sure that they on the straight and narrow, they're leading by example and all that stuff. That's my responsibility. You know what I'm saying? And then when somebody come and ask me, man, well, how you do this? Don't sit around talking about, I got to keep this secret, man. You know? I can't share this information, man. First of all, let me make sure all mine took care of first. You ain't got to worry about that, man. If you're teaching your offspring how to be strong, they're going to get theirs anyway. They're gonna get, it's enough to share for everybody. And that is the big thing, man. People are convinced that it's not enough to go around, man. You know, and that's a lie. Because they send billions of dollars overseas every year.
Good point.
You know.
Keith, what do you think your responsibility community should be?
Okay, yeah, you all pretty much covered it. It's don't be a hindrance.
All that.
Definitely, yeah. What y'all see. But yeah, that part. There you go. So yeah, just don't be a hindrance, and then at the same time, contribute, know what's going on, communicate, and participate in what's going on by contributing your resources or skill sets to not only provide for your family, but also to help the community. And at the same time, which is a problem of mine personally, is finding that balance. Because if I'm helping you, I'm kind of an all-in type dude. I'm helping you. I'm gonna help you. And what you all were saying earlier, I think Jacory was saying earlier, some people get comfortable, so they'll kick back and just enjoy the ride. Next thing you know, you neglecting your family, your folks, because you trying to help the community or someone in the community. So all of those things you all were saying, but at the same time maintaining a balance and not overdoing it. And not also at the same time, you don't want to I don't want to be at a point to where I'm saying, well, I did my part. So the rest of it falls apart, but I did my part. You don't want to be that guy either.
Good point.
Sometimes you might have to do a little extra because of who's there. They just can't do it or they won't do it. But you can't let the whole thing fall apart because being that person, that I'm gonna do my part person. So it's a balance there.
Yeah. I tell you, the answer to the question, what I feel my responsibility to the community should be, is just like piggybacking on all three of you guys. I'm just changing just a little bit. when I help somebody out, I have no expectation. When I do help somebody out, I have to be a little selfish that none of mine will suffer because I'm helping this person out. Now, that is to keep my sanity, because if my family, and my friends have to suffer because I'm helping this person out, I'm going to expect something back in return from them.
Yes.
So I have to draw the line. Now, everybody may not agree with this, but this is what I'll do. And I'll tell them, if I can help you, I will. I won't have no problem with it. But if it's taken away from mine, I'm not talking about me personally, I'm talking about mine, the people that I take care of, I'm going to say no. You guys heard me say earlier, I know how to say no. And that's because, especially when you're dealing with another man, this man is capable of taking care of himself. He just needs a little bit of help.
Mm-hmm.
He don't need you carrying him on his back unless he's gravely wounded. He needs a little help to get him out of his stumble before he falls. But like I said, I have no problem in saying no. And we'll give you a reason why. I'm not just going to leave you hanging there. I'm going to tell you why. Whether you accept it or not, really and truly, I'm being honest with you. Because what do we have? We have a response. First, we have a responsibility to ourselves. And meaning when we have a responsibility to ourselves, that means us and our family, people we're taking care of. We have that responsibility. Now, if I can help it, I would never ask another man to push that. If they got responsibility and they can't help me, or it's going to impede on their responsibility, I won't ask another man. And that's a decision I made personally for me. You know what I mean? That's all. I wish I was the smartest man in the world. I wish God gifted me with ultra discernment to know people. You know what I'm saying? Bless me with those gifts of the different stories that we hear about. I wish I had that. I don't. So I try to do the best I can.
Are you sure you wouldn't be sitting around crying all the time? You had that much.
You know what I'm saying?
But oh, they're looking at brother there.
Look, it's a heavy responsibility to take care of your own.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Now, funny thing about it is, add in having a gigantic ego. Add in being selfish. Add in just not liking people in general. People will go out of their way not to be involved. And we got people out there for that. You know what I'm saying? There's people out there that does that. Just for the sake of it. You know? I have another question for you guys. And really and truly, it's just, if you met you and didn't know who you were, and we'll start with you, Damon. If you met you and didn't know who you were, do you think you would like you?
Nope.
Why?
I wouldn't like me, man, because there was a time, man, where I was naive and I didn't really know nothing, and there was an innocent.
No. I'm sorry. Right now, Damon. You right now.
If the past me met me right now?
No. If you didn't know who you were and you met you right now, at this moment, Damon Armstrong right now, do you think you would like you?
Oh, absolutely.
Why?
Because I would like me, man, because I'm not saying I'm infallible, but if I do trip up, make a mistake, cause harm or whatever, I own up to it. You know what I'm saying? And I try to rectify it.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And that's my guidance. You know what I'm saying? I'm guided a little bit by humility. And that humility is caused by me recognizing my own faults and what I caused and what I put out in the world. You know what I'm saying? And that doesn't involve anybody else, man. It's just me being honest with myself. And I like that part about me, man. I'm comfortable with that. It took me a long time to get to that place, but that's wisdom. That's learning. You know what I'm saying? Getting your head bumped and learning, and not in an animus way and say, hey, you know what? I'm gonna learn how to be slicker. But saying, damn, I caused this and I caused that. I have to take responsibility for that. You know what I'm saying? And those are life changing, life altering situations what makes you in hopes of being a better person. So that's that's part of my ideology. So yeah, of course I would like who I am. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
If given the time to recognize, or you know what I'm saying, uh, to get to know me, I'm like, oh, that's the type of brother he is, and he's consistent and he's honest about it.
Mm-hmm.
So of course I like me, you know.
Okay. Keith, if you were to meet you right now, the person you are today, and you're a stranger now, and you met you, would you like you?
Yes, I would. I would like me. I'd like
Why?
myself. Uh, Once I got to know me, I would understand that I was a genuine person, and my intention was to be be genuine, and not, and I don't want anything. If I'm speaking to you, I'm being friendly to you, I want to be, and that's what I want. I don't want anything you have, or I don't have any kind of angle.
Okay.
So that part would make me uh, really like myself. And initially meeting myself, I'd see it kind of too good to be true. I'd be thinking, okay, this is a little too easy. This dude's got an angle, but he's patient. I'm waiting for the I'm waiting for the bullshit to reveal itself. You know.
Yeah.
So that for me, that would be, yeah, me. Short answer, yes, I would like myself.
Okay.
I could hang with me.
Got you. Spoke. If you were a stranger and you met you, do you think you would like you?
I honestly don't know, man. I honestly don't know because well, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm the like some of the traits that people see in me and are attracted to or whatever. I don't I don't want to say I don't necessarily see the value in them, but I'm standoffish. I can be an asshole. You know, I'm an arrogant person. You know, and in my mind, those are the things that I put out all the time. But
Got you.
that's not how. That's not how the world. That's not how I'm accepted by the world. So one of us is lying. So if a motherfucker, if I approach me, look for friendship, I would have questions. You know, and there's not a wall that a person's got to break down to be my friend and all that. No, not at all. I'm just I'm really protective of my peace nowadays. You know what I mean? Back when I was younger, and it might have been a goal for me to make friends. You know, my discernment, wasn't as sharp, and I don't want anybody in my life currently to think that I don't fuck with y'all because you're not I seen something in you or anything like that. It's entirely self motivated. You know, because it's like I said, you know, like the minute negative traits that I have, and I display them when the opportunity presents itself. To me, that's magnified 10 fucking fold. So me, I'm like, damn. So what these people want to be bothered with me for? You know, it's a confidence thing. I understand that. You know, I'm 51, about to be 52 in October. But you know, I I I just I don't know, man. I don't know.
Okay. I think that me personally, to answer the question, would I like who I am? Depends on the moment. Because what I do is I react to moments. So if we just meet and it's a pleasant situation, this is what I'm gonna give you. I'm gonna give you my pleasantness, right? If we meet and there's other things into play, you know, maybe anger, something going on, then I react in that way. I've known that I am constant. I'm not liked, but I'm not disliked either. There's always room to get to know me, to pass judgment on me. You see what I'm saying? I don't do that on purpose. And I'm not a guarded human being. People don't understand that if I say the fire is hot, that's what the fuck I mean. There is no secret plan behind it. My brothers know it. Keith, you know it. I have no secrets, right? No secrets where it's diabolical. Let me put it like that. Because we all got to keep our personal shit. You know what I mean? Because that belongs to us. But when it comes to disengaging with people, I leave it open. This is the only reason why I asked the question. I leave it open to your interpretation. Because I've had people, and really, and you guys can speak on this. I've had people feel as though my personality was too strong for them, even though I have not insulted them. Because we meet people who want you to placate to their personalities, make them feel comfortable, right? I make an effort to bring you into the situation, but I'm not going to make an effort to make you feel comfortable with me. That's not fair to you. That's not fair to me. You feel what I'm saying? But I'm going to leave this neutral area where we can come together and we could actually, you know, find out if we have anything in common. You feel me? That's all. I mean, I don't make it that difficult.
I think that's a part of my dilemma, man, because you know, you talk to some people, man, and they would, you know, talk about how warm and inviting I am, and other people would probably describe me as deadpan, and you know, just I would probably say boring, because I don't give people, I don't,
With it.
you know what I mean? You know, yeah, and I don't know that I have a problem with it or not, you know, but it's like the people I do give spoke to or whatever, you know, could tell my whole story, but I don't. I mean, I'm really very indifferent as to, you know, whether they do or not,
I can dig it.
you know. And I'm not. I ain't looking for no friends. I ain't looking for that. I mean, yeah, you know, it's always good to have people in your life, you know. But there's been points and times where, you know, I've at least been made to feel like people refuse to be in my life, so I became accustomed to being with me,
Mm.
you know, and hanging out with Spoke and solidifying my relationship with him. You know what I mean?
Most important relationship.
Yeah, but there's another. Don't you have to strike the right balance, man? Because if you're raising kids, man, you know what I'm saying? isn't it about understanding them and then adjusting? All kids
Yeah,
ain't the same. So
that's
Absolutely not. What's the right balance in regards to
but
to knowing yourself? What's the right balance?
hey,
What,
before you answer that, Damon, I don't
oh,
know
it's
if
a
it's
question that
you.
I'm asking.
No, I'm saying I don't think the two belong together. I was just talking about you as a person. I'm not talking about raising your children because you have to raise your children to be the very best that they can be, and they're going to see the best in you. You feel what I'm saying? It was just more or less. And go ahead and answer your question, but I just wanted to clear it up just in case you got it
What I'm
confused.
saying, my point is, dealing with one child, they might find me abrasive, intimidating.
I
You
see
know
where
what I'm
you're
saying?
going. Okay.
So I have to. There has to be a certain amount. I mean, I have to have an awareness of that, man. So
Yeah.
the adjustment would be still being myself and being open to them, so they can recognize. But I don't want them to be sitting over in the corner and saying, you know what? Every time, I'm 6'5", man. When I get emotional, and I start talking or whatever. Some people might find that intimidating.
What?
Some people might,
You?
some people might find that, off-putting or whatever. That's not my intention. You know, That's not my intention. So I'm just saying, there has to be a certain amount of awareness to that too, man.
No doubt.
but who does that awareness serve? That awareness serve? I don't care who I'm dealing with. If I'm not centered within myself, then awareness be damned. It's useless.
I mean, but if you're raising your children, though, to Damon's point, if you're raising your children, you have to sacrifice a little bit of you.
No, you
You don't
don't,
think? Why not? Why don't you
because
think?
our children, if we're lucky, are us. And the part that I sacrifice might be exactly what they need to survive.
Uh, it's a good point, but I don't know. I'm the type of dad where I'm a disciplinarian, but I also want my boys to like me when I'm older. They ain't got to like me when they're young. You know what I'm saying? But I got to show a little piece of my personality when they're young too. You feel what I'm saying? That's all. Now I'm not disagreeing with you. I was just throwing that little caveat
No,
in there.
yeah, yeah.
I
I
want.
mean, have you ever had an experience with pop? And for my brothers, just 1 second, KB, have you guys ever had an experience with pop? And you see him go through this interaction or whatever, and you be like, who the fuck is this dude?
Yeah, yeah.
Why do you think that? Why do you think that is? And that's the first part. Why do you think it is? And after you figured out that this is who that man was, do you believe him to be honest with you? That he that do you believe that he had been honest with you throughout your entire lifetime?
I mean, I'll answer it. He's always been honest with me, even
But
to the
you
point.
had you've had those moments where you've asked yourself who the fuck this man is, right?
Yeah, well, I had these moments just to change it a little bit. Had these moments where I was with him that I was definitely afraid of this man in front of me for
Mm.
what the way he was dealing with someone else. I was definitely afraid. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Because you know that he was that's what he was to the rest of the world, right? Oh, I was terrified as a child. You know what I'm saying? But the thing about it is, well, to answer your question, I've had those moments. You see what I'm saying? And then when I got older, I understood those moments.
Well,
Okay.
my thing is this, man. To answer your question, Japoy, yeah, I had that moment, man, and that moment is when I wanted to really get to know the man because he was being himself. He wasn't being dad. You know what I'm saying? I got to know who he was, these things that he shared. I'm like, wow, I didn't know that about you. You know what I'm saying? Growing up being a disciplinarian and all that stuff, I know I had a place and how I had to conduct myself. You know what I'm saying? But knowing who he was as a human being, what he was compassionate about, dreams and hopes that he had, you know what I'm saying? Things that he saw in me, not in a disciplinarian way, but my strengths. Hey man, dude, do you know this is who you are? Man, I see this in you. He telling me about me. You know what I'm saying? He's not telling me about who or what type of man he expect me to be. He said, "Hey man, do you know, man, you strong in this area, bro? Bro, have you ever tried that, man? Man, I'm proud of you in that. I'm proud of you because of that. Hey man, I'm proud of the fact that man, you have intentional fortitude, man. There's a strength about you. You know what I'm saying? That's being personal. That's being engaging. That's letting somebody know who's raising you that, hey man, I see you. You know what I'm saying? It's not about a persona. It's about, you know what I'm saying? I kissed our dad one time, man. And that's when he told me, man, he was sick. You know what I'm saying? And I felt that compassion and that whatever. And when I kissed him, I didn't feel any type of, I felt love and I felt closeness. You know what I'm saying? Being a disciplinarian, man, does not denote that type of situation, man. It has to be a connection. It has to be openness there. It has to be some type of vulnerability on both sides of it.
I mean, that's both. You could have both.
Right.
You can have both. You know what I mean? You can be a disciplinarian, but also be open too.
Yeah, but along that comes understanding, man. You know,
Of course.
it comes understanding. Hey, man, I need you to be able to be in a position where you can survive this thing that we live in, especially as black men. You know what I'm saying? But you can also be compassionate. Also, you know, you can also be compassionate. It don't have to always be the situation where it's just constant. You know, when his brothers walk into a store and they grimming each other. You know what I'm saying? Keep an eye on each other, grimming each other, trying to intimidate and all that stuff. That is not a way to live life, man. That's why we die young, bro. You know what I'm saying? Keeping up that persona, keeping your chest stuck out. Sometimes that invites shit. You know, I'm just saying, there's a lot to us, man, and what we put out, you know what I'm saying, matters too. I'm not judging anybody, and I'm not questioning how other people do because we're different. I'm just saying, for me, I like Jacory asked the question. I wanted to get to know that guy. You know what I'm saying? And once I got to know him, he was a great dude, man. He was a good friend. You know, I love when he called me and said, "Hey man, what you up? What you got up?" I'm just chilling. Hey, I'll be through. Swoop you up. You know what I'm saying? I love that part of it more. You know. Then I call him. Hey man, I'm finna come mess with you. What you up? Man, no, I'm gonna be there. And we kick it. You know, I like that part. So that's what I wanted to know. That's who I wanted to know, and I got to know that guy. And he was a good dude, man. Real good dude.
Yeah. I wanted to ask y'all, it's for all three of you, and it's on the part where you were talking about this sacrificing your what was that? Sacrificing of who part of yourself? Is that what you said? But let me just ask my question. My question is when you say okay, so let's say it's with your children. How do you determine or decide how much, or if you're gonna communicate to them why you are discipline them in a certain way, or uh Yeah, how do you determine if you're going to share or how much of it you're going to share while you reacting the way you're reacting to whatever an incident is? If you're
Oh
in a
hell, our dad was the
disciplinarian
master
role,
at that.
yeah, I was
I
saying,
mean,
do you do it immediately, or do you say, okay, I'm gonna let this sting for a while, then I'm gonna come back, or
I
how
mean,
do you gauge it?
let me just say this. I've gotten my ass whooped, and 5 minutes later, it was explained to me exactly how I could have prevented it. It was also explained to me my thought process into why I put myself in that position.
Right.
And then after that was done, what have you learned from that? And what have you learned from what I said?
Okay.
See, you have to. I got my ass whooped for stuff that I've done and stuff that I allowed my brothers to do. You understand what I'm saying to you?
Oh yeah.
Which was rare, but I had moments where I had my ass whooped because I should have been looking out. It made me the person I am today.
Mm-hmm.
Is that fair? Yeah. If you care about somebody, of course, you got to look out for them. You got to take the extra time. So to answer your question, oh yeah, conversation came after the ass whooping.
Okay.
Yeah. Mine came before it. And my brother keep talking about that fluke, man. This is playing. I need you.
Damage control.
I need you to do this, please, because I can't take it, bro, man. This dude, the man, tell you, and everything good. My dad
Yeah,
say, "Now, son, explain to me. You done this 3 times, and I done told you not to. Explain to me why you continue to do it, man. If you give me a good explanation, you won't get punished." And I sit up there and I'm looking at Keith. Keith was like, "Okay, go ahead, man. This, take your 3 spots."
just three.
Take your 3 spots
and cry.
and we can go about our business. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I ain't happening, bro. That ain't happening. But yeah, he would our dad, man, he say, "Hey man, I need you to explain to me, man, why you can't, take care of your business, bro.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
is the deal? Explain that to me." And he would sit there and he would actually listen to you.
He would listen. He would listen. And I give my boys the same opportunity, man. When Keith was a baby, and then Carson was a baby, the same opportunity. And they are better human beings because of it. They feared punishment from me, right? But they didn't fear
You.
me. You know what I mean? But I didn't do that on purpose. It was just a simple fact that I understood that worked better for them being better human beings. That's all.
Well, I'll share. I was asking it because I'll share this much. Growing up, uh, little guy, elementary school up in that area. Each day, it was always a nervousness. I wanted to get through that day without getting hit, drug, dogged out or something. Because it just seemed like I was a magnet. It come to me. So each stage of the day, it was like a milestone. It's like, okay, we good so far. Now we just got to get through this. And then, hey, I ain't been. It's 3 o'clock. I ain't been slapped yet. That kind of stuff. And it won't one individual. It would be several people in there because yes, it was some trauma. It was some verbal abuse, and a whole lot of stuff going on there, and it would trickle down. It would trickle down. So, and a lot of times you get a lick, you get a beating or something like that, and you left like, why? And then sometime, okay, let's see this, but was that necessary? You know, I'm watching 5 other people do this. No one's told me it's not cool to do. When I make my move, I'm hit. So for me, it was just a whole lot of confusion. And then, like my grandmother was the anchor, and she was home plate. Now, if she threw her hands up, like, hey, you were done. You were done, bro. Yeah. So that a lot of that, it seemed like it was abandonment issues and stuff with me. But when she would leave the house, and I remember how I would be like, take me with you, because I felt like when she left the house, I was fair game. I was youngest one. The closest one in my age was 8 years older than me. So I ain't beat nobody up. I ain't winning no fight. I ain't outrunning nobody. So so now I got to be a negotiator and try to navigate through. So, and another part of that was it kind of molded my personality also, because I'll come up and people will speak to me and I'll, hey, how you doing? And that's it. I don't even think about it. I'll smile and speak. It's a respect thing, and it's friendly. And my grandfather would speak to me about that. He said, you smile too much. He said, there's 2 problems with it. He said, people size you up to think you may be a target, or you soft, or because you're friendly, you're approachable. You're too approachable. He said, and then some people, it scared them. He said, I know you. He said, you do that even when you're angry. He said, you took that from a cousin of mine. He said, this cousin I'm talking about, he said, he killed 2 people. He killed 2 people. And he was laughing the whole time.
They didn't know. They just didn't know.
Yeah. He said, one man, he cut his throat. He was grinning, laughing the whole time. But he said, but each time the person had done something to him. But it was that my whole point is just it helps a lot, which I'll say you do, to sit down and explain, learn to teach the lesson, and don't because it can easily be misinterpreted from a young person, and actually they'll start seeing you as a bully. They'll still respect you and everything. They're gonna hide it from you. They're definitely not gonna let you think they see you in that light.
Yeah.
But deep down inside, they're gonna be saying, this dude in this certain, I'm not going down this road with him because he's a bully. I ain't gonna never hear the end of it or something like that. So that's why I asked that question, just to see how you all as fathers dealt with that, to make sure you weren't seen in some weird type of light and not be aware of it.
Well, I mean, you have to think about it. It's all about the child too. I mean, it is what it is, man, because it's about our character. Like the 3 of us, we took everything that happened with us in our lives. It was similar, but it was different. You know what I'm saying? We held on to certain things that I wouldn't think was meant anything, right? Damon probably like, man, that was fucked up. Or Jaquari like, man, why didn't blah, 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 da, da. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the individual, because we all have our own personalities. We're individuals like that. But the one thing we have in common is conversation. We talk amongst each other. And the thing about it is as mild-mannered as I am, I never held my tongue with anybody. My brothers will tell you. Hell, you know that. Never held my tongue. Now, I can turn it up high, not holding it. I can turn it down low, but not holding it, be passive aggressive, but letting you know this is a problem. But I became that way because of trying to solve the problem and didn't let fear override everything. You feel what I'm saying? It's just that's me. I just can't. I don't like missing my sleep, man. I know all three of you heard me say I am not gonna miss no sleep over this BS. So I gotta say it. Gotta split it up. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I think, man, people are different, man. They do things a different way, and they can rationalize it, man. Or I didn't whip my kids, man. That wasn't me. I started off doing it, but then I asked myself, why am I doing this shit, man? What am I conditioning them for? And it didn't make sense to me. Matter of fact, I started having these images of slavery and slaves getting whipped and all that shit for conditioning. I'm just telling you what I thought. You know what I'm saying? And what was the purpose of it? To condition them to think and do what you say, to do what you say, and that totally dismisses that individuality or that inner self, man. How do you express yourself and be who you are without learning from your mistakes, man? You know what I'm saying? And then if you get whooped in the process of it, are you being counterproductive as it pertains to who you're raising? You know what I'm saying? Is there a point? And my question is this: is there a point where you're breaking the spirit, man, in the name of discipline?
That's a good question.
Very good question. I mean, because you speak to many adults, and they would say that's the solution. He's just a spirited boy. He need to be broken a little bit. And the only explanation I could come up with to counter that is the fact that they've been broken, themselves. If you're a person in a position of parenting and you've never been broken, then that's not a viable option for you.
Yeah, my answer to that is yes, because I have been broken.
Wow.
Literally, I have been broken to the end. But for my younger siblings, my brothers, I had to hide it or overcome it, and that was tough. It really was tough because I wanted to take the path of least resistance, but I had to lay an example for them to know, so they would feel like they had somebody to come to. I have a bigger brother. I have some support. So, but yeah, it can, and I'll tell you, I have been broken. So where I'm inside, I'm feeling like, man, whole time I'm thinking, am I looking like a punk right now? And sometimes I'd overdo it, trying not to make sure that wasn't the impression I was leaving. So I'd get in trouble that way. So yeah, the short answer, I'm just saying, yeah, it can cause that someone to be broken.
Hey, you know what, man? I see your point. But I think it really depends on your children, whether you get corporal punishment or put them on punishment. What works? You know what I'm saying? Because I don't think like I can say that with my sons, when they got a whooping, they were surprised. Let me put it like that.
Mm-hmm.
Where they got chances. But and this is the thing that I came up with my dad. 3 strikes. 3 strikes. My father used to give us 3 strikes. And mostly is if he said something to you. You see what I'm saying? And that works. But I'm giving them a warning, like, yo, listen, this is going to happen. You got to chill out. But then you know how children are. They think what they say in the South, they think chicken grease ain't hot. You know what I'm saying? Until it burns. Then they
Mm-hmm.
looking at me through the course of the corporal punishment because what it is I do it like my dad. Grab them ankles. You know what I'm saying? And they looking at me like they like this.
Mm-hmm.
Like this has actually happened. I told you it was because the one thing that as a father that I never wanted to do is tell you I'm gonna do something on the good or bad side and don't do it. That's the worst thing you could do for your child to me, right? So if you said you promise a punishment for them, right, and you don't do it, give them a reason why you didn't do it. Don't just not do it. You see
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? Because they're not mature enough at that moment to really process. Oh, I'm getting scot free off of this thing. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? But that's just me. Let me do this. Address the other question of the day, and you guys can spend as much time as you want on it. And the question was, do you think that we have a problem with expressing our emotions amongst ourselves and women as black men in this community? We'll start with you, Keith.
Uh, yes, yes, I do anyway, because it's levels to it.
Okay.
It's levels to it. I can express things with you all as men more in depth. One, you can relate. We're all men. You can relate to what I'm saying. Uh, with women, it's different. I don't think I should relate or feel comfortable sharing everything because one, I'm seen in a leadership position,
So you
and
don't
when
want
you,
them to see you as being weak.
yeah, it's some things you need to share, but some of the things that I'm dealing with, I need to deal with it, and she don't need to know all the details of it because, as you know, about two or three of them, they'll start Monday morning quarterbacking that thing, or live quarterbacking. They'll be like, "Well, hey, why you let that happen?
Mm.
Why you didn't go in? Why you didn't flip the table? You know, why you didn't break his neck or something? You know, you being soft now. You let and they don't understand the whole perspective. Yeah, yeah. If I do that now, okay, then I'm gonna be fired. Then I'm gonna be you gonna have a complaint about that. Then I'm gonna be stupid. And then they don't see that. So it's a lot of things that you can't share with women or communicate. So I'm saying you'd have a problem, or I would have a problem because you have to keep a balance there. That's another thing I say. You have to keep a balance.
Okay.
Well, on the other hand, yeah, because I hear that in relationships, when you share everything with your boys, y'all get together, y'all chat about this and chat about that. Then when you get home, uh, you don't share these things with me, and I'm in this with you, and they don't understand this, and they won't admit that they do the same thing. But but you can't do it. It's really not wise to do it.
Gotcha.
If you're going to be in the leadership role, be in the leadership role, and things that they're directly need to know about, yeah, share it.
So it has a lot to do with the maturity level of your mate, whether or not you can
Absolutely.
share it. Okay.
Absolutely.
Damon, do you feel there's a problem with sharing with other brothers and women in our community?
I think, man, that we all communicate with each other, man, in different forms or whatever. But I think the problem is accepting. Man. If I tell you I don't want to talk, I don't want to talk. And to do it's not against anybody. There's no underlying agenda. It's no not. Some days I wake up and I don't want to talk. You know what I'm saying? Some days I wake up, I do want to communicate. You ask me a question, I give you an answer. That should be enough. You know what I'm saying? Why should I have to elaborate? I gave you asked a question, I gave you the answer I want to give you,
Yeah.
and that's it. You know what I'm saying? The problem comes in is when when people start digging, they start probing, and it becomes something else.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? It becomes something else, and it has nothing to do with the initial question or the initial situation. It has everything to do with, okay, now that we at this point, let me tell you why I had a problem last week with your ass.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? So it becomes this whole thing, man, where it's just outside of the initial situation. You know what I'm saying? And then in memory, you say, well, I know where this leads. I'm gonna try to be as quiet as possible. I don't want to accept the apple cart, and I'm gonna do this here just for the sake of peace. You know what I'm saying? I know if I don't take that stance, it's gonna blow up into something, and it's gonna become a situation that's not even there. You know, like I said, like I was telling you guys last night, we communicate, man. Brothers communicate with each other walking in and out of stores, man.
It's
You
real.
know what I'm saying? We communicate like that. We communicate with each other. Some things situations are not healthy. You know what I'm saying? You need to know how to differentiate between those communications that are important and healthy and those that are not. You know, and I think we as men, I think we have more understanding than that because we are the protectors. You know what I'm saying? Confrontation is what it's gonna be, man. And that shit can escalate into anything. You know, loss of life, prison, whatever. That's always at the back of our mind. And see, women, and and this is just my opinion. They want to talk about it. You know, how many times have you guys seen a couple out and somebody they beefing with somebody else or whatever, and that man say, "Hey man, calm down." You know what I'm saying? And that woman is like bombastic and like, "No, hell no, this, that, and this man looking at five guys. You know what I'm saying? He looking at five guys, and he's trying to de-escalate the situation, not because he's afraid, it's because he got you with him.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because he got you with him. They come at us, we both gonna be stressed out on the ground and shit. You know what I'm saying? And in order to be to avoid being stressed out, my woman being stressed out, I'm about to have to pull that thing out, man. Then you talking about jail time, you talking about lawyers, you talking about money, and all the shit we ain't got.
Right.
All because of communication. Hey man, let's de-escalate and let's move back from the situation. Now, if you ain't given no choice, then you handle your business. But all the loud talking and all that crazy stuff, man, there's a lot of brothers in the cemetery, man, because of that shit.
No doubt. No doubt.
You know? So it's personal, man. I mean, we can't communicate with the whole world. It's the people that's in your circle, man. You know what I'm saying? You got to have you have to have some patience, man, and understanding in that regard. You know, but understand when not to. Look at my wife, man.
And sister-in-law, you starting all the shit too.
And I'm like, man, that woman, she get the my woman, she a gangster, man. So I ain't gonna even.
Jaquari, do you think there's a communication problem between men and women in our community?
No, not between men, because when I tell a man something, it's cut and dry. And, but as my brother Damon, expressed, when I say something to my wife, I've got to explain that, and that's not something I'm used to. I'm not used to explaining myself to anyone, but it's something that she demands. It's like when we first got together, uh, like KB said earlier about his granddad. She would say stuff like, "Well, you too friendly. You smile too much, and all this and all that." So me being, a younger version of myself at the time and wanting to make this person happy above all, I took on some of those traits. I did. I did. But what she didn't understand about me was the fact that I'm gonna display those traits with everyone, including you. You know what I mean? So you need to be careful on how you try to handle it, because I don't like to be handled,
Mhm.
because you said that that particular trait was attractive to you. But now that I've given you what you wanted, and it seems to blow up in your face when things don't go your way. Now you want to reshape things. Well,
Mhm.
I'm not pliable. I'm not that pliable. I was never that pliable. What I did was I put your happiness above mine. And on the freakish chance that it works out in my favor sometimes, and you don't like it. That's not fair to me. So I'm gonna double down, right? But as far as communication goes, man, I I find myself being equally as vulnerable with men and women, because men understand, and women will step up and try to help, in situations, because they know who I am, because I told them. You know what I mean? And I'm still the same person. So when certain situations arise or whatever, and I'm performing, and everything is, hitting on all cylinders, there'll be that female around who's like, okay, well, you need to give Strong a break. All right, you leave him out of this, because they know how I'm dealing with that pressure or whatever. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's a tricky thing, man. It's a tricky thing.
I think so too.
But
But
there's
I'm gonna
there's
tell you, I'm gonna be
always
honest with you, bro.
between us as men, there's always an underlying, possibility of violence.
Always.
Because that's
Always.
that's how we that's how we were raised to solve our problem
We were
with
conditioned to
men.
solve our problems that way.
Yes, yeah, but
Mhm.
nobody,
I for
no, nobody,
one
no,
want to give you credit, bro, because back when he was young, Smoke man back in the day, man, that brother was ready all the damn time, man.
He,
oh
I'm
he,
like,
man,
damn.
he
oh
was. I always had to be a diffuser when I was around him.
Man, that
I
brother
that
was
was
always
but
did.
that was because I was with y'all. When I was with my
but
friends or whatever, I'm like, you motherfuckers really don't have my best interest in heart or whatever. So I'm gonna be out when y'all throw a couple of punches or whatever and run. I'm gonna be left fuck behind.
I see what you're saying.
So safety will motivate and encourage bravery. It will.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, look, gentlemen. As always, Strong Perspective Podcast has done a fabulous job. Keith, thank you,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Damon, Jaquari,
look,
great as always, man.
appreciate you
Great as
guys, man.
always, man.
Yeah. Thank
Appreciate
you.
you. Um, Before we go to last words, I just want everybody to know this is a real serious podcast when it comes to communication, folks. This is what we're about. You know, if you know Keith, you know Damon, you know Jaquari, you know me. Get in touch with us if you want to come on, because we want to hear everybody's side. We want to hear everybody's version of life. This is what this is. This is what this podcast is for. Let's hear your version of life. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you're willing to come on, understand that we like to laugh. If we have a question about what's going on from something that you said, don't take it personal, because some of us like to pontificate. Some of us like to beat our chest and then need silence at the end. Well, we don't do that. Now, if you just said some things for standing O, guess what we're gonna do? We're gonna give you your flowers. Now, if you say something that needs a question or two, guess what we're gonna do? What did you mean by that? Explain yourself. Not so we can make you look bad. Oh, we need a better understanding, because this is a conversational podcast, period. With that being,
And if you can't,
go ahead.
If you can't explain yourself, you ain't got no business making a goddamn statement. That's just what it is.
Hey, look, if you know you're going to say something that you can't explain yourself, make sure you say, "I need help," and then go ahead and say it.
Yeah, I'm saying. Put it in the chat and let everybody see it, and then say it and see what happens.
We got you. We got you. Ladies, please come on. We've had some dynamic women come on the podcast, and we really enjoyed them coming on. They've had a great time. So please come on. Any last words tonight, gentlemen? Go ahead, Jaquari.
Hey, I just wanted to say, as I told you guys at the beginning, I'm here for my cousin's birthday or whatever. And my wife, she went over to her house with her and her friends or whatever earlier before the podcast started. And cousin Malik, she invited me to come over to do the podcast over there. And I was like, well, I know, it'll probably be cool, but well, since we've been doing everything. I got like 5 texts. My wife, she's like, I'm so fucked up. I am so fucked up. So like, yeah, I think I kind of dodged the bullet on that one. So, but hey, I've had a wonderful time having a discourse with you guys, man. As I always do, I look forward to the next time. So keep yourself safe so you can return, and peace.
Any last words, Damon? Keith?
No, mine is just as always. Thanks for the invitation, man. This is always a good hangout, man. A great hangout, and I greatly appreciate it. And I learn a lot every time. Every time I learn a lot.
We appreciate you.
So you're welcome. So anytime, hey, I'm gonna do my best to make sure I'm here, because I watch. Even when I'm not up there, I'm watching, because y'all give us the raw stuff. That's good.
Definitely appreciate you, bro. For real.
Well, it was like the question: do black men have struggle with communication? Well, this is me communicating. Love you, brothers, man, and appreciate you.
Love you too, man. Love you too.
Absolutely,
Yes, love you too, man.
Oh yeah, and I've been talking it over with Damon and Jaquari. Keith, you're a bachelor. You're on the hot bachelor list. You got your own business. You're doing your thing, brother. And we know a couple women that's single and also around your age. Even though you like the grass a little greener than the light green, you like the dark green. But that goes without saying. But what we're going to do is, the three of us being married, we're going to be moderators, and we're going to have folks in our age group come on and just communicate. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah, because I've been eating AstroTurf here lately. So, yeah.
Oh shit.
oh shit.
Y'all about to get the FCC on us.
Look,
Goddamn, going on around here.
All right, folks. This is Strong Perspective Podcast. We thank you again. We're here every Friday at 7:30. Please go to our YouTube channel, like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment. I'll make sure I get to those comments and respond if you need me to respond. But you guys, enjoy your weekend, fellas. Damon, Jaquari, love y'all, man. Love you, Keith.
Love
Love y'all, bro.
Y'all have
Love
a
you
good
too.
night.
Well,